by HP. Tony Green, Tom Eads, Vern Harris draw the assignment tonight. Kansas and North Carolina, and here we go. Chalmers grabs it for the Jayhawks.
Good steal of the tap by Arthur, beating Hansbrough to the ball.
And it's Arthur over Hansbrough for the opening two.
Really critical for Arthur to get going offensively to force Hansbrough to work. Hansbrough is not a shot blocker, so you can go ahead and put your low post shots up.
This game, Billy, expected at breakneck speed, right?
I would imagine that. I'd be surprised this game's played under 80.
Ellington stopped for a minute. Here's Deon Thompson.
Good quick defense, good stepping out.
Lawson hands it over to Hansbrough. Spins on Arthur, puts up the shot and matches Arthur's basket at the other end.
You know, that is really not even a shot. It's a throw, and yet it's so soft. It's amazing how he does that.
It's like with his strength, his body, it's like he's able to create some sort of separation to get a shot that looks like it could be easily blocked, but he's pushed the defender away. This time over the top. They go right over Hansbrough for the basket.
Really like what Bill Self is doing. He's saying Hansbrough's a guy that puts up a lot of points offensively. Let's make him work on the defensive end of the floor. He's getting no help in the low post.
And it's Jackson who just converted at the other end, coming up with the ball at this end.
A change defensive assignment. Hansbrough goes out on Jackson. Puts Thompson down inside on Arthur.
Robinson's got a wide open three and knocks it down.
Really a key for Kansas to shoot well from the perimeter. When they do, they are so tough.
North Carolina already with its largest deficit of the tournament. They've run right through everyone by the widest margin on any run in its storied history to the Final Four. Lawson on the baseline, trying to wiggle free, and that is shut off.
Rush getting out on the break nicely.
Ginyard trying to draw the charge, no call. Rush jumper over everything. Ellington coming out with it for the Tar Heels.
He'd have been better to rotate that ball back outside.
Pull up shot, Ellington knocks it in for a two, not a three.
But Jim, you're ever going to see Ellington has size on Chalmers, and we've seen this in the tournament. Bigger guards shooting over smaller guards, even those that play pretty good defense. Saw that in the first game with Collison.
Over the top again. Arthur snags it, knocks it down.
Big to big. Really nice strategy by Bill Self. He's making the North Carolina big men have to guard somebody, and they're getting no help.
And good, quick passing. Hansbrough driving on Jackson. He backs it home.
Did I say the game would be in the 80s, Jim? I may change that to the 90s.
Underestimated this, my friend. Might be there by halftime the way they're going.
Like the way Kansas has this floor spread, really utilizing their big men with a lot of space inside.
Arthur fade away, rolls off the rim, saved by Ellington to Hansbrough.
North Carolina does not look as quick to me as they did, Jim, when we saw them in Raleigh. They exploded there, and here their legs look a little heavy to me early.
Thompson and a steal. Robinson nearly able to make the theft. Thompson didn't see him coming in on him. Now it's Lawson. Tipped over the Rush. He's got Chalmers ahead.
Why he didn't pass it earlier?
Chalmers could have given it back to Rush, too. Going to be on Ginyard.
Now, what's going to happen right there if you're going to see Lawson penetrating to the inside because Chalmers, Rush, and Robinson are outside. No defensive balance for North Carolina. Kind of an easy break.
Well, you saw the Tar Heels the first two rounds of the tournament up in Raleigh, coming off their ACC tournament win, and you just marveled at their quickness, their legs. But you look at Kansas right now, this looks like what we saw out of North Carolina and Raleigh, the way Kansas is jumping around this floor.
Absolutely. They seem to be much quicker on the floor. North Carolina goes to their bench early, and Kansas will do that likewise, coming in with an explosive Collins, so they'll get even quicker.
Sasha Khan comes in for Kansas, and it's Stevenson and Green for the Tar Heels.
And Jim, let's put something in perspective. The last game Kansas played was Davidson, right down to the wire. The first game North Carolina played this year was Davidson, right down to the wire. They beat them 72-68. So this Davidson club from the beginning to the end was a factor.
Chalmers unable to hit the free throws.
Now it's going to be Collins on Lawson, even though the Kansas switches.
Davidson played every team here at the Final Four at some point during the season except Memphis. They had UCLA on the ropes early too. Hansbrough, that one's wow. Arthur says not a chance. Rush up ahead, plays it in.
Second time in this ball game that a good double down from the weak side has paid off for Kansas.
Green is knocked to the floor, no call, and it's last touch by Green.
No question about it, early on in this ball game, Kansas much quicker. Hansbrough doesn't see the weak side help coming. Kansas off to the races with excellent fast-breaking basketball.
Quentin Thomas, the holdover from its championship team, now defending here on Collins. Again, they go up over the top. Great catch by Kahn, unable to make the short shot.
North Carolina has numbers.
That ball last touched by Kansas. It'll belong to Carolina out of the break. The full fury of Kansas unleashed here at the start. 11-6 lead at the first break. Memphis with a 78-63 victory over UCLA. Derrick Rose had 25, but Chris Douglas Roberts with 28. And Joey Dorsey didn't score, but had 15 rebounds as they knock out the Bruins. Carolina to inbound, down 11-6 here early. And that's a reach-in call on Sasha Khan.
Not the kind of foul you want to commit when things are going your way in your Kansas. Jim, isn't it interesting? Kansas is a team. Not one Kansas player was selected by the media for all-conference Big 12. 4 guys got votes, but nobody made first team the media. Now, 2 guys did it in the coaches, but shows you the balance on this team probably hurt itself for postseason accolades.
Boy, they do share the glory, though,
yes,
don't they?
do.
You don't get a guy with a breakout scoring game. Stevenson had a good chance to score inside, but took his eye off of it.
Does not have the best of hands. Green has to recognize that.
Collins, their super sub.
A tough assignment for Thomas. They're going right over the top with their big men. Better adjustment by North Carolina that time. Stevenson helping out.
Still, Arthur had a good chance to make the play on that one. They dropped it in over Hansbrough, but goes out of bounds.
Lawson out, getting the break early.
Danny Green's
got the jump shot opportunity, doesn't take it.
Everybody left him. Now he'll take it. Here's the 3 for Green.
Very important that he gets off early. Chalmers with a good rebound and a push here. North Carolina will not be able to take any breaks because Kansas likes to push the ball up the court as well as they do.
Now Rush, back out high Chalmers. We can beat you so many ways. To Arthur with Stevenson trying to defend. Arthur, all net.
Second beautiful turnaround jump shot by Arthur. Nice follow through.
Now Hansbrough driving and drawing that one on Kahn. So Kahn with 2 quick ones. Inside, though, they've been getting some action, the Jayhawks.
They really have. They've gone down and low, and I think it's an excellent maneuver to make Hansbrough play defensive so that he has to work on both ends of the floor. They've been throwing the ball right over the top nicely. Jim, one of the things about Kansas, too, they can rotate their big men pretty well. Kahn got 2, that one cheap foul on the reach hurt him, but they can come in with Cole Aldridge as well. So they've got 4 men to rotate. He'll be coming in right now. So foul trouble really not part of Bill Self's problem.
So Cole Aldridge, the freshman out of Minnesota. Jackson returns. Robinson returns.
Right, the one guy you don't want in foul trouble is Arthur. He's fouled out 4 times this year. And you want him on the floor because of his offensive prowess. Hansbrough, more attempts and more makes than any player in Atlantic Coast Conference history from the foul line in 3 years.
He's going to get a breather here with Deion Thompson coming back. He broke Christian Laettner's free throw marks, attempts, and makes.
Who played 4 years of college basketball. Big screen by Jackson out front.
Aldridge. Collins so quick, gets by everyone.
Collins is quick. He's got that big upper body. Loves to penetrate. The young man had obviously problems this year physically. It took him a long time to get back, but he's another one of those guys who can come off the bench and be a star in a ball game. As is Green, who's back in for North Carolina.
Kansas has 5 baskets, made baskets in the paint, leading at 15-8.
Roy Williams really going to this bench early. Lawson going to be coming back in. Not a lot of scoring on the floor right now for North Carolina. There's a walk.
Green saw Rush crashing in on him. Tune in to NCAA March Madness Central, powered by the first ever Pontiac G8. For complete coverage from the Final Four, check it out tomorrow night on the CBS College Sports Network.
Then we talked about these great programs. North Carolina 6-2 all time against Kansas. 3 of those games in the Final Four. There's another lob, but not read very well by Rush.
It's Thompson.
Nice soft touch.
Yep. He's starting to come on during this NCAA tournament.
Yeah, he really had a tough ACC tournament, then came on strong. Another good drive. North Carolina not squaring up against these guards early on outside.
So Thompson makes the hoop, but at the other end commits the foul. That will send Russell Robinson to the line.
You know, it's funny, when you think back to history, there's so much connection between North Carolina and Kansas. Roy Williams, 2 of those 3 Final Four matchups had Roy Williams coaching at Kansas. The one where he defeated a Dean Smith team.
91.
Right, and then got beat by North Carolina's rivalry Duke. And then, of course, in 93, when Dean Smith won the championship with his outstanding team, they got beaten in the semifinals by that club.
3 times in the past, the 57 epic battles, the triple overtime Carolina win, the other one. So they meet for the 4th time in the NCAA Final Four.
Hansbrough getting a pretty long rest here in the first half with his team down.
Hansbrough now back off the bench and checking in.
Lawson hadn't been able to turn the corner on Collins or Robinson so far.
Stevenson pinned, spins around, pivots pass, but it's blocked.
Who gets the loose ball? Kansas.
Collins goes underneath. Aldridge on the follow.
Right now, North Carolina, compared to what we've seen in the NCAA tournament, Jim, and Lawson takes a shot in the eye, they are really out of sync in regard to the team they have on the floor. Good drive to the inside. Nobody blocking out. Aldridge comes down and puts it away.
Jackson commits the foul at the other end. Watch the freshman and Jackson both going in. It's Aldridge who got the hand on it.
So Stevens late getting there. Hansbrough back into the ball game, has not been able to get off track. Nice lob,
but it's blocked. It's kicked out by Arthur. Sent away.
Jim, I talked about the quick legs. It seems like Kansas is getting every single loose ball.
Bouncing it in to Aldridge. 1 pass too many. Trying to work it back over to Arthur, and Carolina takes it away. Kansas has not trailed in this game. They've got their biggest lead here at 9.
See Ellington coming back in the ball game. Roy Williams looks like he's wanting to get that starting lineup back on the floor.
Robinson commits his first. So after all the rotation, Carolina back out there with its first 5.
Getting no free looks from the outside at all. North Carolina, another good quick.
Chalmers wasn't looking, but they still have it. There's another quick move by Collins.
Isn't it amazing, Jim, what quick legs will do? Kansas get all the loose balls.
Another one. That's Chalmers. Banks it in.
Roy Williams doesn't want to call a timeout. He wants his team to push it up the floor, but they're pushing up the floor against somebody that's quicker.
Next whistle will bring the automatic free timeout. All 5 Kansas starters have scored. They're on an 8-0 run, and they're looking for another theft. Ellington bounced it over to Lawson. That was some heads-up play.
Terrific defense so far by Kansas.
And again, that one's kicked. It'll be Carolina ball out of the break, so they were able to save a timeout, North Carolina, with the under 12 timeout. Kansas shooting 71%. A blitz of a start. What hustle by Kansas already with 4 steals, 3 blocks, forcing 6 turnovers.
Jim, we see this defensive intensity. North Carolina weak side help. All loose balls going to Kansas. There's weak side help again starting to break. Hansbrough doesn't realize the weak side help is coming. Again, rush off on the break. Just been tremendous defense by Kansas. They're number one in their conference, number 3 nationally in regard to percentage defense. And they are showing why tonight. Here comes another double team on Hansbrough.
Hansbrough puts up the shot. Ginyard comes flying in.
Loose ball.
It's Robinson in Kansas. Other side of the court, rush. They're just flying up and down the floor. A 10-0 run by the Jayhawks.
North Carolina can't get any semblance of half-court offense going.
Ellington speeds past rush. And that's a charge. Everything going Kansas's way.
As fine a weak side defense as you'll see played in college basketball is what we're seeing from Bill Self's team. Roy Williams can't believe it. This is not a North Carolina team he has seen play in months.
A North Carolina team that's won its last 15 games, went 36-2 on the year.
Well, they started 18-0 on the year. Kansas started 20-0.
Up 15, looking for more.
Nice screen.
Rush with a 3. Can you believe it? What a performance.
Beautiful screen that time by Jackson to set up Rush's shot. Another loose ball.
Again, Kansas has it. They tie it up by the time they get there, and it stays the arrow with North Carolina.
Roy Williams looking at the club he used to coach, playing a magnificent first half. Getting every single loose ball. North Carolina has not had an opportunity to get anything going in their half-court set. This is some performance.
4 baskets, 7 turnovers.
You know, sometimes when you've been winning big, Jim, you lose sight of how to play the game when you get to some adversity. North Carolina right now, and there was another example, taking a bad shot, not getting anything working.
Well, they had a chance. They say it was touched last by North Carolina.
I think Ginyard got a piece of it.
He's not arguing the call. North Carolina played on this floor at the Alamo Dome in the '98 Final Four and fell to Utah in the national semifinal right in this spot.
Well, Bill Self worked so hard to get to a Final Four, and it was a trouble, but this has been no trouble for him. This is one of the most devastating performances I've seen by 2 teams that were fairly evenly matched.
Billy, can you believe Carolina's down 21? They've given up 16 unanswered.
Almost lost another one.
There's a reach-in call on Kansas.
North Carolina right now, Jim, feels like they're playing against 7 defensive men. That's how quick Kansas has been in this first half.
That was on Chalmers. Today's your last chance to vote for the Pontiac game-changing performance of the tournament at Pontiac.com/NCAA. A $100,000 scholarship is on the line.
And Jim, if you're North Carolina right now, you don't want to start kicking back into this lead and think you got to bring it back all at one time. They've got to figure out how to get in their normal half-court sets.
There's a foul in midair.
And if you're Kansas, you don't want to be that aggressive. North Carolina's causing their own problems.
That is on Jackson, his second. And they instantly bring in Aldridge. Jackson to the bench with the 2. Cole Aldridge, a 6'11" freshman from Bloomington, Minnesota. Last year's Mr. Basketball in that state. Ellington open 3.
Had to alter the shot on that jump shot. Again, trying to come back too quickly.
Collins almost dragged the foot.
Good post up.
Arthur over Green, big advantage. Aldridge fighting for it. Out battles Hansbrough and draws the foul. Wow.
Jim, is there any phase of this game in which Kansas, forget about being better, isn't dominant? There's Aldridge going over Hansbrough. How often have you seen Hansbrough been out-battled for a rebound inside? Danny Green comes over, not much he could do other than commit the foul.
So Aldridge already with a tip-in basket to shoot 2. Give the freshman now 3 points on the night.
Young man, McDonald's All-American. Big things expected of him. He's really lost a lot of weight. You can see Roy Williams trying to do anything he can, settle Ellington down. But I think he may have to stay with that starting lineup so that they can get into some kind of flow.
Brings in Will Graves for the first time.
Graves is a shooter. Somebody in the lane too soon.
He's going to get one more chance. North Carolina in early.
This is a nightmare for Roy Williams, who has now elevated himself in winning percentage, number 3 all time, behind the likes of some of the greatest coaches that have ever been in the game. But tonight he is looking at a nightmare.
That lane violation cost him a point. Quentin Thomas back out. Green to the bench. Can you believe this now? 18-0 run. 8 consecutive empty trips down the floor for North Carolina. Will it end here?
You have the freshman on Hansborough. See if they can get him the ball in the low post by calming down a little bit.
Graves trying to come in and deliver. Off the rim. Again, Aldrich giving them a spark off the bench. Everybody for Kansas playing well.
But if you're North Carolina, you don't want to bring Graves into the game and then all of a sudden he's going to try to play one-on-one, and there's Hansborough picking up the cheap foul.
Aldrich.
Yep.
And Hansborough able to force it and act it out.
And that's just a freshman learning what he can and cannot do. Hansborough, seasoned veteran, picking up a cheap one. North Carolina really with not much of its shooting power out on the wings right now.
North Carolina scoreless for the last 4 minutes and 35 seconds.
How about the overplays by Kansas?
Every shot, every pass contested.
Yep.
Lawson. Hansborough.
Nothing easy.
Blocked, but a hack. And it's on Chalmers, his second.
And how about the way they're distributing some of these fouls around, Jim, and the fact that they've got 4 big men to play with 20 fouls out there, but here the guards even helping out inside.
Hansborough already been at the line tonight and hit a couple, now adds a third. That breaks the 18-0 run with that free throw.
That Eastern Regional Most Valuable Player. The Atlantic Coast Conference Player of the Year. You'd have to probably say consensus National Player of the Year, but he's looking at a swarming defense on him here tonight.
Got so many different National Player of the Year awards out there. He's already collected 7 pieces of hardware, and I know there's more on the way. Hansborough with 8 of the 12 points for the Tar Heels.
Pretty nice defense by Lawson. Doesn't let Collins turn the corner.
Robinson with the 3. Tipped up by Aldrich.
Oh, he is so active in there.
Wow. Basket. Taken away.
Well, worth the gamble, though, if you're Collins. He's got a lot of strength. He goes inside. No question, body contact there. They're waiting on him. Here's Graves, a man that likes to shoot from outside, but he's come in the game. Tried 3 individual plays, so you're trying to come back with guys off the bench. Probably not good strategy for North Carolina.
They've missed their last 8 shots. Under 8 to go in the first half. Total domination so far. Arthur, too strong, but a follow-up by Rush.
Jim, the national championship on the college level is not the best of 3 series. It's one and done, and North Carolina right now is facing that early in this ball game.
Rush way outside 3. Of course. Of course.
This game is over.
Is it?
Yes, it is.
Wow. With 7.5 to go in the first half, Kansas pummeling North Carolina.